What's going on, everybody? This is Audio Engineer for the DBL Podcast, episode 18. As always, let us know how the volume is for both myself and all the other participants in the podcast. Palmzor, you should be good to take the floor.
Thanks, Naz, and welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Dragon Ball Legends Podcast 18. Where's the raid? On 5-9 Gaming. Today, we have an illustrious round of people. We are today joined by Tom, the fantastic player.
What's up, guys?
We are joined by Radical Deuces.
It sounded like you were going somewhere else than fantastic player. You cut that right. The fantastic player.
Definitely not.
Whatever.
We are joined by It's Homie Time Goresh.
What's going on, everybody?
You already heard Nastarachi.
Hello.
We are joined by Prof.
Hello.
And ZVG.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's finally good to be back.
Exactly. Welcome back, ZVG. And today's topics are obviously the new Step Up banner, another one. We're going to talk about the units, LF Gohan and 21. We're going to talk about the 21 Zenkai as well as her event and the raid. Don't forget, we also have a YouTube channel. We have a Twitter. You can check out all that by just typing !Linktree in the chat. And don't forget, the sub with Prime is not a crime. With that, I'm going to lead it over to you, Goresh, and your thoughts on the Step Up banner and, I don't know, the amassing of Step Up banners in the past.
Yeah. LF number 4 within the, what is this, like the Legends Festival or whatever they're calling this celebration? 40. I don't even know. Is it supposed to be the Legends Festival or is it the 40 million download celebration? Is it the same thing? I'm confused.
They don't have any reference to that on the banner art, but this has got to be like how they railroaded the PyCon and Goku banner and then the Turles and Goku banner at the end of second anniversary, right?
Yeah, because in the tweet when they posted this, I think they actually did the hashtag for Legends Festival still. So it's technically, I think, supposed to be part of it. But
yeah, the festival's been going on for months now. Like, when's it going to end?
This is the same exact thing that we said during the anniversary too, because we're like, how long does this thing go on? Like, I remember the same thing. We talked about that as well. But yeah, this banner, like the format, is just straight up better than the Gogeta and Broly banners because they just added the free multi, right, to this. That's the same exact setup. They just added the free multi to this one.
Yeah, literally identical with the free multi added.
Yeah, so it's obviously better than the Broly and Gogeta banner. I still would say it doesn't feel as fun to summon on as the original system what we had with UI Goku. Just because for me, the ticket banner doesn't feel fun to summon on, and it's just like the same units. I will say, though, that the ticket banner pool is really good because of Champa and Vados being on there, but other than that, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I pulled Rosie. That's great.
Dude, I don't know why they don't just go back to the old step-up ticket format. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, just go back.
Tickets should at least double the rates for the new units.
Yeah, at least that. Like, don't make it be the same rates, bro. Like, doesn't make any sense.
Then it's still worse because wasn't it 5% on the old tickets? Or
I think
it was 5%
it was
for the LF.
For the LFs, 20% for the new unit.
Yeah,
1%. Yeah.
Yeah, they should at least boost the rates of the featured units that are on the banner. Like, it doesn't have to be all just the brand new ones because there's like 3 or 4 or 5 returning units also. Just feature those 5 or 6 units on the tickets and leave the rest of the pool out of it, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this banner obviously is not horrible. It's pretty good in terms of a future team, because if you're a future main, like, this is your banner. You got Cell, you got Goku Black, and the new LF, and you got Trunks and Zamasu. Like, this is a banner that's geared towards someone who's interested in building a future team. And I told people this earlier on the stream, I think last night, where someone's like, hey, I'm a beginner, like, which banner should I focus on? And I said, like, this is a banner where you have a full team presented to you on this banner that you can just reroll for, like the future team. Green Goku Black, Red Cell, Future Gohan. You could, again, merge Zamasu, the Yellow Rage Trunks. They're all future units. So you can start the game right now and build a future team from this banner and be, like, perfectly good and have, like, a solid foundation moving forward if you reroll on this banner. So this is a pretty good banner. The banner format isn't spectacular, but it's not as bad as the Broly and Gogeta banner. So Yeah, in terms of the pacing, I would say it's a little bit annoying that they just keep throwing these banners out one after the other like rapid fire, but this banner's not bad at all.
Yeah, I really like to. You hit the point pretty well. So I do think that you could go in nothing and walk out with a top tier future team. They're all top
a lot
tier
of
units currently.
consolation fusion pickups in here too. Like you could end up with Vegito Blue, Kefla, and Gotenks, and then bam, you have a fusions team somewhat ready to go. Also, if you're a newer player.
And you have two of the best non-Zenkai Sparkings in the entire game with
Yeah.
that banner, with Green Goku Black and the Red Revival Cell, which I'm not unhappy that I maxed them out, but I just wish I would have pulled that Gohan a little bit earlier.
The bigger issue with this, with all these banners, is that we had a period of no events for like a month, bro. Like, that's the biggest thing that makes this banner feel like, why is it even a thing? Like, we had no events for 3 weeks, and then an LF banner. It's like kind of a slap in the face, to be honest.
100% agree. Because it's one thing if you're going to give people a sizable amount of crystals, and that'd be ridiculous, 10, 12, 15,000 a month. They're grindable, but it feels like we got like 8, like 6, something like that. Like I had like next to nothing from Gogeta into this banner. If I didn't buy crystals, I would have like 800 going into it. It was ridiculous.
You're not free to play.
Pretty close.
No, I'm free to play. You're
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 200,000 free to play crystals. Yeah.
Yep, the secret content creator event.
I know
Yeah,
we just got
you guys
this-
just don't have access to it. So
But
I know we
honestly,
just
though,
got
the
the
other
raid,
thing that also people complain about in my chat is that the sales were also not very good for this banner. It's just not a lot, and
it's because they
I don't
gave the
know,
daily ones all the way through, and I guess they expect you to buy that every single day up until
Yeah.
that point.
I
That
think
makes up
those
for the
end
sales.
those end what, today, tomorrow, day after, sometime very soon as well.
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, they covered most of the points already. It's just the frequency of the LL units dropping is somewhat eyebrow raising. They're becoming much more regular paced, which I'm cool with in terms of the actual units and how much time and design goes into them and how awesome they look with the animations. But the LL rarity, if you want to call it, next to it makes it much more painful for the every player. So
Yeah.
I don't know what their overall.
Are we sure about
business-
that? I've pulled 5 LS and no 21. Are we sure about that? I got a
And-
Vegeta Blue, a Gohan,
Bro,
and 3
I-
Piccolos.
I have a 6-star UI Goku and a 2-star Jiren and top on this board, bro. Like, don't even.
What?
Do that.
Huh?
Don't
It's
even.
it's very much the
That's black
opposite for
magic.
me, and I could imagine it's opposite for many other people too. But with that aside, it's just their business strategy is curious here. Like I don't know what exactly their release schedule. Like is this just because again they're Garesh, I believe we loosely covered this. Like they said that they were going to go all out on this festival because of how the coronavirus impacted the second anniversary and made it, less what they wanted to do. So
I don't think there's I think it definitely impacted them during the height of the pandemic, but I think at this point they should be caught up. I think.
yeah, that's why I said this festival they're going all out because they weren't happy with how they did the second anniversary. I feel like I heard that somewhere.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
But outside of that, their release schedule for Legends Limited units is becoming somewhat alarming.
Well, yeah, because the issue that I have with it is we went from Vegito Blue to Majin Vegeta. That was 2 months or so, that gap.
Yeah.
And then we went from Majin Vegeta to UI Goku, which was another 2 to 3 months gap. And then, which I think is fine, 2 or 3 months in between Legends Limited, I feel like is sufficient. That's a fine gap. And then we go from there into 4 LFs in a month or whatever it is, a month and a half.
Yeah.
So that's a
So
lot.
I remember we talked about it earlier when we were recording something with Ryuden, where he said that he feels like maybe they're going the Dokkan route, whereas you get one every month. I think in Dokkan it's the Dokkan Fest exclusives rather than the LRs. What do you think? Does that make sense, or
No.
would you rather not?
Well, it would make sense if they increase the amount of events we got per month. Well, yeah, but right now, nope. I just don't see
Yeah.
it making any sense, honestly.
I think the biggest thing that I have to say to people that are like, "Oh my god, like why are you using so many LFs?" Is I agree. Like I'm not disagreeing with you. The only like I guess devil's advocate point I could sort of bring up against that is you're not meant to summon on every banner in this game. Like, yeah, it's nice to pull units for your collection, but realistically, if you're an average player, you're really going to focus on one, maybe two teams. And you should be planning on pulling on banners that are going to help you build teams surrounding the team that you've picked to like focus on. But yeah, I know it feels weird when they release 4 LFs in like a month and a half. I agree with that. The only other question I have for you guys is, what do you guys feel about Future Gohan being an LF?
Okay, it was completely out of left field. Like honestly, I think that he shouldn't have been an LF. I think it should have been like a 1% unit banner with Gohan and 21, and that'd be good. But like the LF caught me off guard. I was like, LF Gohan, what? And then his LF is decent, I guess, but it's like we've seen Yellow Ultimate Gohan do the ultimate already, and then he has the green Future Gohan's green card in it too. So it's like, okay, I'm not really hyped for it at all. But that's just me. That's just me.
I mean, who here thinks he deserved the LF?
I think he definitely does. 100%.
I think
he's cool.
something
I don't mind it.
from
This
the
is-
future deserved it more than him, to be
This
honest.
is literally the first time this character has ever been depicted in a Japanese video game. And I say the first time ever because Buchigiri Match is shut down. That was the other game that did it first. But that game is not available to access anymore. So I
With
think
one
they
arm?
surrender their title. This is literally the only Japanese game in the world that has this version of Gohan in it. Period.
But the only thing Gohan does is die.
Wait, real quick though.
Yeah,
The-
exactly.
the
Like he
Legends
died and
Limited
he got
Wait,
unit-
Prof wanted to talk. Let Prof talk.
Let's reevaluate what a Legends Limited unit is, because currently we're under the impression that these are going to be the epic finishing moves from the anime, right? But if we reevaluate what a Legends Limited is and say these are going to be the units with an overwhelming amount of, I guess, aesthetic polish and maybe a little bit more of a tilted kit in their favor, we could open the door for 17 and other characters that you typically haven't had a big game changing fight win, but they could have a really polished character that comes out, and I like that. I like this direction a lot. He's not an obscure character, but he is one off. He does one thing. He really does go on and do a final stand and then lose versus the androids, but that's a pivotal moment in the anime, and there's a lot of people that really dig LF Gohan. And as people have already pointed out, he's missing the arm. This is unique model animations. Everything about him is clean before you even get to the kit. And I think that's what Legends Limited should be, not just this is the big finishing move when Gohan killed Cell, right?
And I see a lot of this in chat. I just had to interject this really quickly. Dragon Ball Sagas was not made in Japan. That does not count because they did not have the same cultural restrictions that other Japanese games do.
All right, so I guess we're already kind of segueing into LF Gohan. And I mean, who better to talk about LF Gohan than Mr. Hybrids himself? So, Prof, you want to take the floor and tell us what you think about him?
I mean, I think he's absolutely a phenomenal unit. I think the latest, not just 4 LFs, like 5 or 6 that have come out have been on the money to where they're extremely good characters. They might have a flaw, but I mean they should. It's a fighting game, and I think he has that. And the main flaw I'm having with this Gohan right now is, unlike LF Gohan, the OG one, he doesn't come into the field ready to deal 1 million damage. You kind of have to have a little bit of setup with him. Take a tap attack, swap in twice. But I think he's the definite winner for my current yellow on my hybrids team. I've been telling Chad I've been running a 3-star L of this new one then over my 13-star yellow Goten, purely for the fact that I got endurance, and that completely changes the game for me. Endurance and blowing up my opponent's hand. I absolutely adore him.
He has the first version of the cover swap in that doesn't blow back someone to long range, which is very
Super
unique.
17.
Super 17.
Super
still.
17.
Well, I don't really count his so much because I don't know.
He
His
sucks.
Yeah, his is different. Only works
But
on
yeah.
blast cards and super moves that have beam attacks on them. I don't know.
Which is already more than Gohan does, because his only works on blast cards. So I think it counts. But yeah, it's just it destroys cards though, so that he has that going for it, top of just interrupting your combo.
Yeah.
He does just about everything. He is interruption when it comes to your opponent's phase. I've had him do well over 2.5 million on just his ultimate. You know, he does an incredible amount of damage if you actually take a tap attack, get him going. I think he's fantastic. I think a lot of people have been complaining about his bulk, but I think that's well made up for when the fact that he's got the endurance, and with nothing we've got to consider, these Legends Limited units are premium units, right? And he at 2-star, 3-star mine is doing work. I can only imagine if I had him at 9-star plus.
I found it funny how they gave this Gohan endurance when that's like the opposite of what he did.
I mean, he fight Android 17 and 18, lose the arm, and then say I'm going back for more?
Yeah, but he's coming in with the arm already gone.
I know. I just think thematically he's kind of,
I know.
just
It's just a meme. Yeah, I know. It's just funny to me because like they made him like pretty tanky and like have cover change and endurance and like damage reduction, and like all he did in the show was he just died.
How many stars is yours, by the way?
Right.
Barrett?
I'm not going to disclose that right now.
If anyone watches the 250,000 crystal summoning video, they'll find out pretty easily.
Fair enough.
Dude, his kit is way too good for what his stats are. That's my only problem with him. Like his stats are, I like his kit is like high S tier. Like he does everything. But then when you look at the stats,
it's that
fall
way.
so short. Yeah, but like,
if he was like, imagine if his stats were absurd, like Broly or something, or whoever, and then you have freaking that kit with that on Sun Family, it'd be gross, and they know they would get pushback from that. That's why he has some kind of restriction, because he'd be ridiculous, absurd, like.
You know, we wouldn't be having this argument for stats if Zenkai's didn't like just destroy everyone else.
We would not even get close to having this argument. You are correct. Like we never had this argument once before Zenkai's. I know.
So, what are your favorite teams to play him in?
Well, I honestly, I'm a hybrid main.
Future.
I think due to the fact that Super Saiyan 2 Red Gohan is so powerful that's going to be his best team because of that unit. But I think he personally can reach greater heights on the future team if you got it built correctly. Like the purple sacrificial Vegeta, I think he's got some just fantastic items on the bench.
The green Goku Black makes a really savage partner for him too.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying that Revival Cell Gohan is just unkillable.
Or if you want to make him really dangerous, put him on a Bardock team. I fought Prof the other day and he was hurting.
Yeah, and that was my 3-star Goten. Yeah, he, especially if you lose an ally, then go into this Gohan. It doesn't matter if you're the Red Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. He can 100 to 0 you, provided that you don't swap out.
Yeah, because he has the type disadvantage nullification, doesn't he, too?
Yeah, it's like 90% damage, type nullification. Oh, wait, you hit me? Here's another 25% damage for everybody. I mean, it gets pretty bonkers pretty quickly. And I think that's the main thing that balances this unit is you actually have to do somewhat of a setup. He doesn't just kind of exist and deal damage, but you strike the right conditions, maybe you cover on a blast, and then you just start a free combo. I mean, this man is ridiculous in my opinion. He's not like the best unit in the game. And I still think, maybe Green Goku Black is better, Revival Cell's better just because of the overwhelming scenarios they can be in. But his support is top tier, and you can feel him when you run him next to other units. So I'm very, very happy with what they did.
Am I the only one who feels like Goten is better, or is that just me? Or
I think you could have a very, very good case for proving that due to Goten's bulk, the blast armor on his green card, and the penetration is extremely valuable. But I've had entire matches won just because my Goten had the endurance, and that alone has too much value for me. Hybrids had no method of cover change besides, I guess you could say, Ultimate Gohan, the green one, and they have no endurance. So we've always just been kind of take the rush and die. Now we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I would give him more tactical value over the Gohan. Over the Goten. The Gohan gets more tactical value over the Gohan, but that's another situation where it comes down to if you have like a 14-star Goten and a 2-star Gohan, you have to weigh your options, I guess.
Well, that's exactly what I'm in right now, and I can tell you that I've had more value coming from this Gohan than I have from my Goten.
So one thing I'm wondering is what do you do when he swaps in with his blast armor and you still have your vanish? Like, how do you react to it? What's the best course of action in this case?
I mean, I've seen a lot of people just know that, because if anybody doesn't aware, if you have your Vanish down and Gohan blast covers you at point blank, he can free combo you off anything. Now the reverse of that is if you have your Vanish ready, you can obviously just get out of it. Your Strike Arts, your Blast Arts, Blues, Rush, none of it will work. You have to Vanish out of this Gohan. And so what a lot of these Gohan players are starting to do now is wait for that sidestep. So it's just a coin flip, man. You've got to kind of feel your opponent out, see how they've been playing, and pick your choice. It's just kind of doing an early or a late Vanish, you know what I mean? So I think that's just another angle he forces the opponents to play with, combined with the fact that he's got the blast cover and blows up 2 cards. I've been given dozens and dozens of free combos now from people combo dropping me for no reason other than predicting my Gohan.
Yeah, that's one more thing that adds like psychological pressure to your opponent, just not knowing when you might swap them in. And that makes people drop combo a lot. You're right. So there was one more unit on this banner, which was the Good 21. Tom, what do you think about her?
Well, we have a Senkai for her already to buff her up even more. I think she has one of the greatest green cards. If you use it on your opponent, you basically get key. You get the opponent paralyzed or stunned for that matter, and a free blue card, and that twice. I don't really like the fact that she switches the strike cards into blast cards, because there's a lot of cover change units and stuff, and I wouldn't have done it like this. But also what's really interesting is the fact that if you chain your blast cards into a green card and then blue card, she's gonna do a lot of damage.
Yeah, she kind of reminds me. She kind of reminds me a little bit of like a mixture of a blast version of Kefla and the Green Goku Black, because her green card is like kind of like Goku Black's green card, where it buys you a little bit of time, gives you some key, and then lets you draw some cards to keep comboing. And then she kind of like is Kefla in a way where she changes all of her cards to one type of card. She powers up by using the blast cards, but instead of all damage, it's just her special move. So I don't know, interesting unit. I feel like the fact that she has like the cover rescue ability is pretty good.
Yeah.
Would you run her over 16
for androids? Yeah. I don't know. I have to think about
Honestly, just bench both of them, and against blue purple, just run both and just win the game. That's basically. I think in certain situations you bring 16 over her, and in other situations you bring her over 16. So just bench both of them, and you'll have no problems at all.
I like that. Yeah.
You have 18, so
I think it fits into the sub builds that Toshi and all them were talking about in the last video and stuff, where they wanted to emphasize teams within teams, right? Just like they were messing with the powerful opponent and the Saiyan version of movies, right? Well, it's kind of the same thing going on now for androids. Like, you could run this female's 21 army-centric version, or you could run the more traditional androids, or you could run, other builds altogether if you want to go like regeneration and stuff. So I think it's them adding more complexity to just sub teams that we already have, right? That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and she also has one of those premium C abilities where she triple buffs strike attack, blast attack, and for girls defense. That's the first android, right?
Good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we've been seeing that as a trend too. I believe Gohan and Broly both have extra bonuses if people are the same tags all the way across.
Yeah, Metal Cooler and Vegeta do as well.
Yeah,
I like that a lot more than.
It's a decent trend. I like it.
I think it's a well-designed Z ability because you're not always going to get the full benefit of it, but it makes you like really home in on what your team has to be in order to get the full effect. Something else we should talk about the Green 21. She has a similar effect on her ult as the Green Legends Limited Vegeta with the lock, which is really.
She has a lock.
Yeah, she has a lock on her ultimate usage.
On the ultimate.
If any of your teammates are dead,
anymore.
If any of your teammates are dead when you initiate the ult, she'll have a lock on it.
Yeah. Okay. And she also
Yeah.
gets increased damage too. The less allies you have.
Yeah, the
So that's
less
pretty-
allies it goes up and up and
Yeah.
up a third time when she's a little anchor unit. Yeah,
Kind of like Murder
yeah.
The
can
opposite of
imagine-
him, because Murjamasu is the enemy's team. This one's your team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but now imagine playing her with the blue Zenkai 21 that we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah,
Getting
that-
buffed.
Woo.
That's kind of how I feel
Ooh.
like she's meant to be ran instead of on androids. I know, like, we have the B-roll footage here showing with them on separate teams just for variances in gameplay, but ideally you want to run them together on the same team. It's just like
Do
when
it.
you swap from the Zenkai 21 into this new green 21, just all 4 of those buffs activate on swap, just like they do for the older purple one, and it just makes her that much more ridiculously better, right?
Yep, for sure. I mean, I've played her a little bit, and yeah, I have to say that the one thing I would really not that I don't like is what Tom already said, is that she changes her cards into blast cards. Because now it makes it a lot more predictable, and especially now, a lot of people that have him running Future Gohan or still running Vegito Blue.
Yeah.
Now you know that your opponent has all blue blast cards unless they have like a green or a blue card, and you can still swap into Vegito Blue if they have a green card because he's immune to being fainted, so no problem there.
Yeah,
But if he eats the blue card, ouch.
it's definitely a more valuable passive, like infinitely more valuable for Kefla than it is for this 21, because Kefla gets strike cards, which are much easier to bait with and get people to slip up. But she also has the blast armor on top of that. So that covers the fact that, oh, well, I know she only has red cards, so I have a tactical advantage. Well, no, because she could blast armor through any of your yellows and still get you. Whereas the 21 doesn't really have any mechanics to enhance the fact that her hand is going to be all yellow cards when she comes in.
Yep, pretty much.
So the I would say overall in terms of the game right now, strike meta is more valuable than blast meta when you're building your teams just right now because of how all these high relevant units have blast armor on so many different techniques. That hurts blast meta quite a bit, but she's still extremely good. You have to play around that properly. She's not good at winning neutral because of that. If you swap her in off of a 21 swap after you've already won neutral, that's when she's going to put in the best amount of work for sure.
Brad, what do you think? Have you played her already?
I
He
don't
doesn't
have
have her. He
Oh, you
doesn't
don't.
have her.
Oh,
Yeah,
salty.
I
that's
pulled
Mm.
5 and 11
Mm.
before I pulled. I still haven't gotten her, and it was like I'm good. I'm like 15,000 in without her. I don't need her that much. My girls' team sucks, anyways. To be honest, like I don't even have. I have Zenkai 118.
Damn.
I'm good without her.
So it's not just your girls' team, but also your androids team, which is kind of
No, I mean, my
bit
Android team is
lagging behind.
decent. I mean, I have like a Z6, 13 or a 16, and like Cell. Like I can make it work on Android, but females, girls, whatever. Vados is like my star unit, and she's also green, so I just rock Vados.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so this is not the only 21 that was new or that got some kind of an update on Wednesday. ZVG, how do you think the 21 Zenkai for the blue stacks up against free to play Zenkais, and how does she stack up against the pay to play ones?
Okay, so I think she's the best free to play Zenkai since Kid Goku. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that. I don't think. there's
Yeah,
any-
without a doubt.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I remember when me and Gershon or Uden were talking about, and we were talking about how if androids get a blue Zenkai, 18 is gonna go rampant, and that's exactly what happened. Like the fact that she supports 18 to that degree while also being blue is amazing. Like for regen and androids and females, like she's necessary at this point because now regen can deal with FSK. 18 has someone to shield her against red units too, so it's very, very, very good. And I think they did her Zenkai really well. Not too much damage. She can tank really fairly okay, but the support is just puts her over the top. Like it's her with 18 is no joke. And I feel like Androids is like the best team in the game right now. To me personally, like Androids you can counter every team.
I can't believe they gave her both key on switch out and then also card draw speed. Like they gave her card draw speed like it was meaningless, and then they didn't give it to Gogeta.
That's gonna be a running
Gogeta
meme
who?
forever.
Who?
Well, same for Gohan, right? Future Gohan has card draw speed, but Gogeta doesn't.
They should almost add that in, like they added in Beerus's Legends Limited animation.
Nah, I like the idea of throwing it on his platinum item.
We've never seen
Brought that
any
up.
type of item with card draw speed on it. That would be a first.
Well, Goten's like heals him on swap out. That's incredibly unique. I can't think of any others that have something
Yeah.
like that. But they clearly are willing to make the platinum item super fancy. So I could totally see them giving him card draw speed or some kind of manipulation on it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
there's a question for you guys and for the chat too. Oh, wait, hold on, Palms. I'm sorry.
no, go.
Do you guys think that 18 is now like the best unit in the game now that she has a blue unit to cover her? Do you guys think that? And for the chat as well. I just want to get your opinion on the 18 versus Gohan debate that's going on right now.
She's certainly the most annoying to fight against. I hate fighting her. I'm telling you right now, I hate fighting her way more than Gohan, but I don't know if she's better.
Yeah, no, I 18. I'm sorry, she does a lot of damage, but Gohan just has to press his main ability to execute you. He is a literal walking rising rush that you can't counter without using Bojack. Like I just I don't know when I talk about C tier units and stuff, I talk about ones that there's literally no reasonable answer, and I don't think there is a reasonable answer to Gohan in the team. Yeah, you can have a blue unit, but does he even honestly care? Like I run into blue, purple Saiyans all the time. They see that I don't run a green unit, and then I fight mono blue, and I still take Gohan because he eats them all alive.
Yep.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just that Gohan has, this like his last man standing because I think 18, she only heals once on her main ability as well, and Gohan heals whenever a Sun Family team member dies, right? Plus on his main ability. So you can easily get him, like basically resurrect him from 1 HP to almost full, if you do it right. And then his damage buildup is crazy.
Gohan is as Prof said, Gohan is the best revenge killer in the game, bro. Like, it is so unbelievably stupid how his ultimate like hits hard as a rising rush. Like, it is so stupid. It is, dude. Like, if you get caught with him, if someone dies, you're dead. Like, no one is living. No one is living that. Like, Prof tested it too. No one's living that shit. No one's living.
Yeah,
You don't think it's a good design?
No, it's definitely not. Dude, you get punished for killing someone on his team. Like, oh my god.
Just like the anime.
I'm assuming we're talking about the red Gohan again now. It's just he is extremely weak to getting his buffs removed late game. But if you're running the females, you don't have an option to do that really. But you got like Gogeta Blue, Red Gogeta, Vegito Blue, like any of these characters that can remove buffs, UI Goku, it takes a lot of gunpowder out of his cannon, that's for sure.
Even when his buffs are removed, bro, he still does insane damage, bro. Like, the buff removal doesn't matter. He's gonna hit hard anyway.
Yeah, the only time when I was surprised was when my DKP actually tanked his ultimate, but I don't remember whether one person was dead on the other team or not, and whether that was the Sun Family. Probably not.
No, the answer is no.
Yeah, it's like guaranteed no. I just remember that everybody was surprised that DKP lived as everybody was like, he's dead.
Well,
what?
It wasn't the optimal scenario, but I had a dead ally, and my buddy's Zenkai Piccolo took the hit. I was flabbergasted, to say the least.
The thing that puts the icing on the cake for me that would have me have Gohan ahead of 18 is his support.
Yeah.
Like, why did he need that?
Like, you don't really notice it, but like he does it. But all you're gonna see is the damage, but you don't really pay attention to like, oh wait, he supports as well. Damn, and he has cover too, and does the most damage in the game. Crazy.
Yeah, only 40% blast damage to everyone else. That's it. And and also 60% Q recovery. It's not nothing too crazy.
No. We're gonna go ahead and give you some key just on top of that key recovery, just in case you ran out, man. Use your hand.
Just click cards. Tom, what do you think about this whole debate? 18 versus Gohan.
Well, I've done a nasty team. I don't know if anybody else tried it, but you can combo Vados 18 and 21, and they all feed into each other, or basically 18 strike damage. And if the opponent switches out, they're dead. No matter what color they are, no matter if it's a Gohan, they're just dead. Like 21, the free to play, and 18 is a hella dangerous combo. And yeah, I think she can compete with a Gohan on Sunfam, but not on hybrids. Gohan hybrids is still #1 unit.
Yeah, Gohan on hybrids is like Sun Family. A lot of people don't realize how much of the damage they're missing out on. But you throw them on the Hybrid Saiyan team, and the Purple Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, this new, frankly, the Yellow Goten or the new Future Gohan. It's like every other hybrid unit gives 25 to 30% just damage increase at this point, and that gets pretty crazy pretty quickly on them. And another thing I mentioned is you brought up needing to use Blue 21 Zenkai. I mean, we're talking what her upper limits are, but that's like saying Super Saiyan units are powerful because Bardock can make them OP. I think Gohan doesn't require any prep. He's a standalone army that wins the game.
And that's why so many people are like, oh no, it's Sun Family again. And then they hate it when they have to play against that.
But 18's like anti-Saiyan. What name like an actual besides this Red Gogeta, like a prominent Red Saiyan unit? So I can see where in the current meta she's kind of unrestricted on who she can kill. Like Cell and Gohan are probably the only two that give her any issues, I could imagine.
Yeah. Like she can kill any unit in the game in neutral. Like, but the thing with Gohan is that he can kill blue units, which 18 can't really do consistently against like Gogeta or Cell, as you mentioned before. But Gohan can kill Topo, Vegito Blue, Bardock, Broly, Namek, Goku, everybody. Everybody's dying.
Yeah, and he also doesn't care about the endurance, like Topo, for example, right? He's like, so what? You're still dead. So with the 21, we got the new or the revamped event for her Zenkai. Brad, did you Zenkai 7 her? How much energy did it take you? And how do you feel about the rewards that we got?
No, she's E6 for the time being. I'm just doing the daily thing every day to slowly get her up there. And I'll burn through a little bit because it's ridiculous. If you don't have that new 21, man, that is one of the biggest flaws. Like, because I'm okay with the unit being a boost unit, but you got to have a secondary option to give a slight boost. Like, you have to. Like, it's kind of BS. And then on top of that, the Super Souls. And I was somebody that didn't grind her the first time she was around, so I only had a 7-star. I mean, I've gone through like 2,200 energy, something like that.
Oh, you got a ways to
get her up to 14 stars. No, it's just 14 stars. Z6. I have plenty of Super Souls at this point. I just grinded the Super Souls while I was getting energy, like refreshing my Chrono Crystals.
Well, overall, it took me. I had her at 9-star, and it took me 3,500 energy to finish her.
Yeah, I probably have a solid. Like, I'm gonna stop where I'm at now, pretty much, and just finish her up to Z6. I think I'll be okay with that. Then do the daily stuff. I mean, it's fine to an extent, right? Like, yeah, she's a really good unit. You can make the argument, but it's too much energy for any free-to-play person to keep up with it.
Even like, with the boost unit, it cost me 35.
It's borderline a paywall at this point with not having the new 21 if you didn't summon for it. Because maybe you just don't give a shit. Stuff. You don't care. Sorry about that language. You just don't care about the units around the banner, so you don't really want to summon. Or you win in ham on Gogeta and Broly, and you're like, whoa, I spent a little too much money. I got to chill out a little bit. You can't even grind the free unit because you don't have the new one because you don't have enough energy. So it's borderline a paywall at that point. So if they had even made, like, what is she, +2, I think? The green 21, she's +2 for the event. Her Awakening Z-Power. If they'd even made this blue 21 instead of Super Soul boosting +1, so it's not quite that level of boost, and still if you summoned, you still have a higher boost, fine, no big deal. But you got to give something for grinding. It was ridiculous. And the Super Souls are a whole separate argument. I ran out of Super Souls. Like, I literally would clear it of the boost unit, which is just the blue 21. There's 100 energy and not even get enough Super Souls to awaken a full board. And it's like, bro, it's 100 energy. I can't even get one board. Like, It's ridiculous.
The energy
So
requirements on this were silly, like really silly.
yeah, like I understand she's really good and that's cool, but you got to throw a bone somewhere. You can't make everything.
Like
you're gonna toss a 4 LS back to back with no events and then no energy as well, and it's like I've refreshed 6,000 chrono crystals energy at this point, and since UI Goku is what I'm talking about. I've used like that much CC just to get energy since then because we have none. Imagine if I didn't do any of that. I would have 0 energy and I'd have 0 units Zenkai 7 that are free. So you gotta throw a bone somewhere. What's the point of a free unit if you can't even get like half the people playing the game can't even get it? That's where it's irritating.
I came into the anniversary with 7,000 energy saved up, and I'm down to like 4,200 now. So that
could be worse.
That was pretty extreme.
600.
Yeah, I mean that was just pretty extreme. Like when you compare this 21 event to like the Red Fury Broly Zenkai that we just got, you could have him done. It took me like 15 to 1,700 energy to finish the Broly, and then
finish him. Yeah, not like souls and all that. Like done.
Yeah, I was completely done with him, and like it was like 700 energy to get 700 to 800 energy to get him to Zenkai 7, and then the rest was just getting all the souls and stuff that I needed to soul boost him, and then it was done. This one, 3,500 energy, like not very well balanced with the last event.
Yeah, and you had the boost unit, right?
Yeah, I had Majin 21 or good.
You had the boost unit and it was double. That's absurd to me. Like, yeah, like I said, if you didn't summon on this banner, then they're just like, well, here now you get to pay literally double on a terrible event that's already terrible.
The biggest time gate, like you mentioned, was the Super Souls. Even with the boost unit there too, like it was ridiculous. It's like you said, it was just like, oh, you want to do one half of a Zenkai boost board? Well, be prepared to spend 100 energy. And you want to do the other half? There's 100 more energy. And then you have to do that
ridiculous.
7 times. That's 1,400 energy, like right there. Just like refreshing to do that because there's 7 pages.
And you get all the random crap with it. Like now I'm just clogged up on all these normal souls, and it's like fantastic. I'm glad I now have 50,000 normal souls. That's great.
Yes, you need those down the line probably for Zenkai 21.
Exactly. When she gets that new Zenkai, I will. Yeah, she gets her double Zenkai coming up. I'll need those.
Stars. But yeah, that's the thing. Also, many people like at first I was also just looking at the energy it takes to Z7 her, and I noticed that. So I did 100 energy before summoning. I saw that there is a boost unit. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop here. I got 400 Awakening Z power out of 100 energy, and I got 600 with 21. So it's a 50% increase, which is huge, just for getting
massive.
The unit. So that's how they make you summon, right? But then
that's why it's borderline a paywall. Like,
yeah, it is. And then you still have to get, mine was also 9 stars, so now I 14 starred her. Plus, you need to get the Super Souls, the Rising Souls, all that stuff. So, and you don't really see that at first.
For me, the Super Soul and more so the Super Soul grind, it's just unnecessary. Like, why did they make it cost so much? I don't get it. They already make you spend so much resources to get the Z power and Awakening power. Like, why make the Super Soul grind so bad?
I feel
you could just partner it with the Z power and you'd be fine.
Just
partner with the normal Z power.
We've talked about this before, but this has to be in their minds, their artificial way to extend the event. So it's, there's more to do in the game. Look how long this is going to take you. You'll have stuff to do over multiple days.
Let me wait a month to finish her. Like, any free-to-play really wants to wait a month to get the new unit. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's
anyone wants that,
super
right?
counterintuitive, but I feel like that's their way of stretching out their content for PvE, right? Like I can't think of another excuse that they would try and use as to why this is so resource.
I mean, I think it's just that you spend chrono crystals or you summon like said, but even with summoning, you still don't have good rates. But I think it's that you use chrono crystals to get your energy, so then you buy more chrono crystals. Because I've caught myself buying in the shop just to refresh my energy. Like, it's like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that never happened to me, Glyph, thankfully. Tom, did you take a lot of time to get that, or do you not have her at Zenkai 7 yet?
Mine is Zenkai 7, not fully done yet, and it took me 2.3k energy, I think, with the boost unit. So that's crazy. Just imagine if you're free to play, don't have the boost unit, and you don't have the unit at all. It's gonna take like 4 to 5k energy to finish that one unit. That's stupid.
Yeah. Like, we've heard them loosely mention, like, oh, we want you to take your time. Don't look like you have to do this immediately. Like, this is something to, like, a goal to aspire to. But that's, like, garbage logic in a PvP game. Like, if you
I
come
was
out
about
with a
to
brand
say-
new unit, you want to use the unit right then. You don't want to wait a month, like Brad said, to be able to even use the unit effectively. Like, that's not a good strategy for this type of game. Maybe in something like Dokkan or Dokkan, whatever, that works out great. But not for this type of game. Like, in Dokkan, it gives you something to work towards, right? You're building up your unit. You know, it's just the AI you're fighting against. Gives you some, like, simulated challenge. But in Legends, it's just annoying. Like,
You know what I just realized? In the preview for the event returning, it says the event is scheduled from 1/20/2021, and then there's no end date. And then I was like, okay, this is going to be up forever. And then you go to the actual like event screen, and it says the end date is February 16th. So like, did they initially plan for this event to just be up forever? And
We have
then
ample time now.
yeah, and then maybe when they released it, they're like, damn, we actually can't have it be up forever. And then they just like made an end date. Because like you can go to DBZ, you can go to legends.dbz.space and check the preview for the event. It's still there. I think you have to scroll through a few pages. And it's scheduled to come back on 1/20/2021. And then there's just like a little like, squiggly line, and then there's nothing after that. So like,
he's
what was that?
updated it now. It says there's an end date on.
No, I know there's an
Well,
end date
not a
on the
preview.
event, but I'm saying the preview page has no end date on it.
Oh yeah, because they didn't. He either didn't have it at first, or like you said, they didn't set one at first. Like maybe they were not sure what they were gonna do, because a lot.
I mean,
of
it's
other-
possible they just got it, and then Fighters was like, "Hey, you can't keep it forever."
Yeah,
Like,
maybe,
you know,
yeah,
oh,
that's
snap.
possible.
Okay, so yeah, 16th.
Well, even the Fury Broly, he's not staying around forever either. I don't think.
He ends in a day or two, I think.
Yeah, so like
It is in 2 days.
all the EX Zenkais are staying around forever, whereas these sparking ones, they're still seemingly rotating them.
Yep.
Which, I don't know. I think this team is a little bit less popular in the overall grand scheme, so it's not going to be a priority to most players, but there's just extreme value in this team. Like, if you can build it, if you have Zenkai 18 and you can build the good girls team or androids, like, there's no reason to not try and build this team out. It's like someone said earlier, it's one of the best in the game, if not like the best, other than Zenkai Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. But overall, I think the popularity of androids and girls in general is just less, and maybe they factor that in somehow. We're like, oh, we know this team's less popular, so most people aren't going to care and they're going to skip it anyway. But the people that do care, they're willing to invest 4,000 energy into getting this. So let's, take them for
Of
a little
course.
ride right now.
Yeah, if
And
you
we all
build
enjoyed
it,
it
the
too.
W's will come.
Yeah, literally.
Hey, Nas, I have a question for you.
Huh.
What time did you wake up yesterday?
Yesterday I woke up at like 7 p.m.
So it was not raid o'clock anymore for you?
No. Oh yeah. So I as soon as the raid went up, because we were already live streaming something else, and the Truth was. This is all Truth's fault, by the way, in a good way. But like, if it wasn't for
There
him,
we go.
I wouldn't have done the raid probably like at all. I would have done it like one time. But because he was forcing me to grind with him, I got my 20 matches in, and then I woke up the next day and it was already long gone. Like, long gone. He was dead, which is so vastly different than the DBS Broly movie raid that we got over the anniversary or the New Year's itself. Like that dude was alive for 4 days straight, and we didn't even get close to killing him. And then you switch over to this one, and he's dead within 10 hours. I feel like there's a huge inconsistency there. Like, I didn't see too much complaining about it on Twitter, but on Facebook, the entire Facebook group I'm in, every single person was like, I woke up, it's already gone. I didn't even get to do it once. Like, what the heck? I'm so mad. I didn't get my 1,000 chronos. Like, screw you, Toshi. Type. Like, that was just all over Facebook. So, I don't know why they
I saw it
did
all
that.
over Twitter too whenever I tweeted it. I put the smiley face underneath Garesh's post. Like people are like, you need to stop, dog. It's like, okay, sorry.
So, like, maybe they're planning out another stage for this? Like, I don't know what their plan is. Like, maybe they'll do like a 21 version or something. Like,
It's
Wait,
gotta just
wait.
last 24 hours. Don't give him health then.
Did you just say
Give him no health the
plan?
last 24 hours.
yeah,
Like,
plan.
Plan, huh? With this game,
Dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so like
no, there's no plans.
Well, it's extra weird to me because this raid, right? This is structured to be similar to the DBS Broly movie raid where I just talked about, right? Like where the rewards are structured for you to just keep doing it over and over again. Like the raids previous to DBS Gogeta Broly raid, you just had to do it the 10 times or whatever to get, the mission rewards done, and then you're done. But then they restructured it so where there's like all these souls you can get, like erasers, tickets, and then, whatever the hell else. And then they still didn't give him the health to where like he's unkillable so that people could actually farm the event, right? Like before we got all the medals from the community killing the boss, right? That's what
Yeah.
gave
As long
out
as
the medals.
as long as you participated one time, right?
Yeah, but now it's more of it's your own responsibility as the player to grind it out, but they didn't give him enough health to allow
If
most
you're in
players to
America,
do that.
grind it out in the middle of the night. Yeah, I want to play Legends at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
wake
by-
up real quick and do
By the
that.
time you wake up, you'd already have been dead. So it's like, okay, this
I have to go to work. Sorry, boss. I got to grind my raid real quick. Give me 1 sec.
Well, here's my question, because clearly what they want you to do is they don't want you to just be able to play it once and get all the rewards. That's why they changed it from that initial setup, right? So if their intent is to make you grind the event, why would they give the boss a health bar?
like
Alright, even if they're gonna give him a health bar just for the aesthetic, the DBS Broly movie way would like make him unkillable. Like that.
Well, no, they don't even have to give him just give him infinite health, and then you get rewards based off how much damage you deal at the end of the event.
Yeah, like a community challenge where
Yeah.
if you guys can hit this much, everybody's going to get 1,000 chrono crystals, and then everybody's pushing each other to do it.
Yeah, I've been saying this since the very first raid because they're like, "Oh, let's sit here and calculate how much health the boss needs to have." Like, just skip all that, give him infinite health, and then there's no you have to worry about it anymore. Like it's like a
who are you
brainless
impersonating
solution.
there, Tochi?
Yeah, that's Toshi.
Toshi impersonation?
I think that's part of the hype, though, is catching the raid while it's live, while everybody's blowing it up. Oh man, the HP bar is already 25% down. Get in here now, right? These conversations wouldn't even be happening. Now, I agree with Goresh. I think the best way is community challenge and then see how many trillions of HP we can do. But
especially when, like we already just mentioned, it launches in the middle of the freaking night, and like nobody in the western side of the planet can even mess with it. Like that was dumb. If they want to do that, at least make it strong enough to last like 2 or 3 days. If you're going to do that strategy, but 10 hours in the middle of the night.
Do we know the difference between the HP bars of the bosses, like this one and the last raid event?
I think Broly had like double the health.
Yeah, Broly had like 400.
But why would they halve that then?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Because we didn't get Broly. Right?
Like,
I think they quartered it. Like I think the 17.
I mean,
only
he
had
went down fast.
Oh,
So they had
okay.
to
Someone in
do
chat just said
something.
Broly had 400 trillion. This
Yeah.
one had like 105 or
yeah, that's
something.
what I said. Broly had 400 trillion, and this
Yeah.
17 had like 115 trillion. So they pretty much quartered his health. They took a fourth off of his health, and that's what we got. Which
how long was the Broly event going for? 2 days?
Went
3
at least
3 days, I thought.
3 to 4. It was up, I believe.
It was like the full time, and we didn't even kill him, obviously. But yeah, it was like 3 solid days. Because I remember I grinded it for 2 full days.
That's like the
one
perfect
night.
duration, though.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, the
look,
weekend. Yeah.
if there's no reward for killing the boss, why is that even like an option for why would you want to kill the boss?
Yeah.
Like there's no reward for it. Why would you want the event to end earlier? Like,
That's what I say. The only way that makes sense to me is if it was a multi-stage event, right? Like, oh, as soon as 17 died, well, now you're fighting Super 17 or 18 or whatever. More androids, 21 even. Like, it would be cool if it was a multi-stage event. Like, oh yeah, the first raid boss dies. Now the second one's automatically unlocked. Okay, that works out.
I think we had that once, but we didn't. Never
Yeah, we
managed to
did.
kill
Yeah,
him.
it was like Omega
Really?
Shenron into like a no. I don't know
Like
if that-
Pycon, Gogeta, and something like this.
Yeah. But they never repeated that. Like, that's the format for bosses that die this easy. Otherwise, just like Goresh said, make them invincible and make it like a challenge like the home run challenge where you just go in and try and do as much damage as possible, right? Like, I don't know.
Can we get a raid that's actually literally difficult to win?
Yeah, this is something that I put out on Twitter, and I know it's going to be like a divided like concept, but co-op is just boring, period, right? And there's no way it's not going to be boring with the way it's currently structured. I would like it, honestly, if the boss character was playable by a human. And I know people are going to be like, oh, it's going to lag too much. The game can't support 3 people connecting all at once. Like, what are you asking for? Yeah, that's correct. But at the same time, I hate having to cave to lag as a reason why we can't get better game development, right? Like, oh, it can't support 3 people once because it lags, so we don't even bother. Like, that sucks. Like, they shouldn't have lag as a factor in determining what can and can't be done. I'd like to see co-op PvP, like where, you know, one human player is the boss, gets advantages, a handicap, then the other 2 people try and take him down. That would be a lot more fun to me. It would obviously make the process longer and harder to grind, but I feel like with the right reformatting, it would just be way more fun, in my opinion. I don't know.
I mean, you can alleviate that by just increasing the rewards if it takes long.
It's
Because I
still
also
boring,
feel like
though.
it is so frustrating. Yeah, no, I mean, like if you do your format and it takes longer, then you just give more rewards.
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
even
yes.
out the score. And that's also one thing is I feel like the raid should not give you one coin ever, because that is so
Did you
frustrating.
guys
It's like,
did you guys notice the drop rate like went way down this time?
I never had
Yeah, it was
over
like
10.
terrible. Yeah,
Never.
I never got over 7.
Or my max was 8. I think I got it twice.
I never got
I
any.
play quite a lot.
Because you never got it.
I missed it.
There's ZVG over there. Like, you're getting them? You're getting medals?
you guys are getting medals.
Must be nice.
See, he probably slept like a normal human being through the middle of the night and woke up and the raid was already over.
Yeah, because I had instances in the Broly one where I got like 15, I got like 10, 12, 13.
Yeah.
This one I got, the most I got was 8, and then like I would say 90% of the times that I cleared, because I ended up with like a decent amount. I farmed it for a good bit when it released. I ended with like 230 or so medals. Like 90% of the clears that I did were 1 medal, and that was definitely not the case last time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
And I
that's like
guess,
a double slap in the face. Not only did they shorten the event by giving him less health, but they skimped on the rewards each time you ran it, too.
Yeah, and I guess time-wise, I guess Tom and I were just lucky that we were like in the U. For us, it starts at 7 a.m. So if you wake up at 8, 9, you definitely have a lot of time to farm it.
That's
I was
still
still sleeping, though.
assuming. That's still assuming you don't have a job you have to go to at 8 a.m. and work
On
for 8
Saturday.
hours.
Yeah, fair enough. But on
Like-
Saturday, that's less likely for most jobs, at least in Germany.
Yeah.
But I think I still think they should have done it more like the DBS Broly, where you know the event lasts for a couple of days.
Yeah, that raid was infinitely better. It's just weird. Like, this one's not even like taking a step forward. They just did the exact same thing and made it worse. It's just like, then
Tommy, you
we
wanted
can't.
to
We
say
normally are like,
something?
oh, they took 1 forward, 2 back, whatever. But yeah, go ahead, Tom.
What?
You wanted to say something, Tom? I think I just talked over you.
I wanted to go on to what Prof said. How would he make him more difficult?
The only way I can see it making it more difficult is to give control of the boss to a human player. Like, the AI is just
That'd be
dumb. The AI never responds properly. All it is a menu clicking simulator. Like, oh, let's invite my friend. Let's match up. Let's pick our team. Let's hit OK 19 times. Let's load into the battle. Oh, we killed him in 30 seconds. Now there's no rematch button, so let's just requeue and do all that fucking menu or stupid menu clicking over and over again. It's so frustrating. Like, that's one of the most unfun parts to me. Like,
Can
way
we please
better.
get a rematch button?
Yes.
Can I just rematch
Yeah.
with the person? Can we please, for the love of God? Like, I'm over there asking Goresh to log back into the game, so he pops at the top of my list like every 10 minutes. It's like, hey, you mind logging back in real quick so I don't scroll way down? Like,
Yeah, the rematch button would make a huge quality of life improvement, but I feel like the only way to I gotta put $1 in the swear jar. I know, chat. Sorry, but the only way to improve the difficulty, I feel like, is to give control of the boss to a human player. Like, what can the boss do? Even the normal tactics that the AI abuses to be cheap in PvP or PvE, sorry. those tactics don't work in co-op. Like the boss can't just sit there and wait to perfect vanish you because it's going to have a second person beating it in the face while it's sitting there waiting for you to do something, right? So none of the AI's typical tactics work. It just sits there and it's a punching bag and it dies. I don't know how they could ever make that difficult. Like the only way to make it difficult is to make it like the Broly event where he would literally like one-shot anyone who wasn't one of the boost characters, right? And then it's just all up to one person to try and finish the fight. So, yeah, I don't really know how they could make it more difficult without it being, like, abusively stupid on the boss's part or, you know, giving human control to the boss. Like, those are the only two things I could think of. And the abusive high damage one is not going to make it any more fun, I'll say that.
So something I like when games have content like this that you want to artificially make harder is when they let you put on challenges, you know, like maybe you start with 25% HP, you know, boss does triple damage, some little gambits you could put on that'll give you multipliers on your score, you know, or maybe drops more of these raid coins if you can complete it with those challenges enabled. I think that would be an interesting route as well.
That would be good. That would definitely be good. Like different modifiers that would enhance the rewards. Yeah. But it would still be boring to actually play it, but at least you'd be more satisfied with your rewards in the end. Like I really just want to see I want to see like co-op PvP. Like I think that would make it so much better. And maybe you don't have to do, maybe there's a choice whether you queue into it with an AI control boss or a PvP boss. Like if you live in an area that just doesn't have good enough internet to support that, maybe you have the option of which version you want to play. But at least trying to include that I think would be much neater than what the current setup is.
All right, I think it's time to move on to the break before we go over to questions. So if you want your questions read out in the podcast, make sure to follow us on Twitter or join our public Discord and put your questions either in our Discord server or keep your eyes open for our questions thread on Friday before the podcast. We're going to be right back in 3 minutes. Get yourself a drink or, you know, do whatever you're going to do in the break, and we'll be right back.
All right, we should be back. Pomzor, go ahead.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a good break. We sure missed you. Let's go over to the questions, and the first question comes from our public Discord from Absolute0273. The question is, what new type of Z ability would you like to see introduced in the game? Maybe something restrictive to a character name, like a plus 10% HP restoration to a character's topo, or plus 10% key recovery to characters named Trunks. Something like this. What do you think?
I think. Go ahead.
We saw it already.
I would like to see the ability that gives card draw speed +1 to character Gogeta with the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan tag.
Yeah, or an
No,
equipment.
but we've seen this before with Red Vegito, where he gives like extra attack to Vegitos only, I think, or something like that.
Talking specifically about the stat buff being health restoration. Well, I guess we've seen health restoration through Green Pan, actually, right?
And
Dude,
Shield.
Bruh,
Yellow Piccolo.
Purple Shield.
Green Pan.
Well, I'm not saying Green Pan's good. I'm saying like
I know.
they've used the text before.
Purple
Like,
Shield would be the
how do you
more
remember
relevant.
that?
He was even not that relevant, but he was at least used a little bit.
I think Yellow Extreme Piccolo was the only one you would actually use in like a yellow blue team or something like this.
Oh, I saw the Green Pan with Rage Trunks before, and you can heal like 800k.
I would like to see. Okay, so all these stat ones, basically everything that we all just mentioned, is something that's already been in the game. It'd be cool to like for something really crazy. I mean, it would have to be like a quirk unit, like Hercule, but like, what if a unit had like a Z ability? It'd be like +1 to ability to use ultimate arts technique or some crazy mess like that. Like, what if it was like a Zeno unit that was just nothing but support, right? Like he couldn't even really fight. So bringing him was like a detriment, other than throwing him in front of Rising Rush or something.
What
but
about
they had what?
What about -1 to sub count?
Yeah, I was just thinking sub count reduction would be really cool. Or, I mean, we've already seen them bring the blue card cost down. Maybe -2 to strike and blast arts. Goes all the way like to 5 if you finish out the unit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think outside the box on things that you would not expect to see on a Z ability.
So I think that there should be a character that allows character Kefla to have 8 cards in her decks instead of 4.
Get out of here.
She doesn't replace the cards; she just puts them on the back row.
Yeah, they're just there. You can use all of them instantly.
Z ability expands all tag fusion units card hand by 1 to 5 cards or something.
Imagine.
All this stuff is good idea. I like crazy stuff like that.
If
Like,
it's
I
for
don't-
the right team, like if they gave that to a really underdog team like GT or Dragon
GT needs
Ball
more than that.
Saga, like that would be awesome.
GT's good. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
GT needs more than that, bro. They need Jesus to help them out. They're gonna need more than a Z ability to fix that shit. They're
Well,
gonna-
imagine if it came out on Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta or something, right? Like, I don't know. Gives every teammate one additional use of ultimate arts. Like, what? I don't know. It could be cool.
That'd be
I
bonkers.
definitely want to see them not start dropping, because we were just kind of gushing how it's kind of nice that they're doing these triple Z abilities, right? You got to build the exact team in order to utilize all the buffs. I really don't want them to go the route of, okay, now triple Z abilities are a norm, and we're just going to straight power creep with 40% plus to both stats going forward without it being,
I mean-
element specific.
I mean, we saw that a couple times before, like when Goten and Chunks, the green and yellow one released, like that's the first time double Z abilities came in. And then Super Vegito with his triple one at 7 stars, and then it could happen though. It could happen.
That's just the natural progression of power creep, too. Like, eventually it's going to get to that point. I mean, if it
Well, that's
doesn't
what I'm
get
saying. But you
like-
can creep in a more interesting direction with, like, we're talking about the different stats.
yeah.
Like if a unit comes out that's like minus 20 to blue card cost, and you're just like, but that's not fair. I mean, it might be because it depends on what team you're running, but you get what I mean, right? And if you get like the full Exodia combo going, these super unique Z abilities could be, the keystone feature that you need.
Oh,
right?
the
Would love to
ultimate
see more of that.
cancer would be, what if they Zenkai IT Goku, and then his like Z ability would be like +1 usage time of all instant transmission saves for all teammates that are both green and super Saiyans. I don't know, whatever. Like, yeah,
Green
let's
or
see some
21.
interesting stuff in here.
How about something really crazy like minus 50% to Dragon Ball gain for both members, like the opponent and yourself?
Ooh,
Well,
yeah,
okay.
I would.
You want
That'd be dirty.
I mean, I'm not going to say
Like-
anything, but we do have that ability to get, what is it, 50% more Dragon Ball generation or whatever in like the raid.
Right. And
Yeah,
then-
the Gohan had
It's
200%.
doable.
Yeah, the Gohan had a
Just-
200% damage boost, but 50% to his Dragon Ball gain. Meanwhile, all the Android 21s just had a 600% damage boost, but no Dragon Ball gain. So if you had
That-
Gohan, you were just rising rushing within 10 seconds every time you queued into the raid.
I'm talking about minus. Like
No, I
really-
know, I know.
Yeah, but
It's like basically a no RR match.
Yep,
well, you could
please.
have a fight where, you guys are saying Z ability. I would love that to be an actual ability. Like, maybe they Zenkai board Slug, and when he steals your Dragon Ball, he literally puts a debuff on you to where you're just not going to see another one. I would
That'd
love
be
to
dope.
see that.
That'd be dope as hell. Like that'd be pretty crazy. Like,
Like prevents Dragon Ball cards from spawning in opponent's hand for 10 counts upon activation.
Yeah, something like that would just, oh man, some just straight up real Rising Rush counter that's not, 21 swooping in from nowhere.
Yeah, or stealing the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, and like if it's on the main, you can only use it once, so that should be balanced enough for the corporate higher ups to not poo-poo the idea and like immediately. Something like that. Although that would be cool on his green card too, where he just pulls you forward. Yeah, there's a ton of really quirky stuff that if we sat here, we could probably think of good ideas like all day long. But stuff that's outside of just these static 10% to this, 20% to that, like if they actually put abilities on these, like actual battle modifiers to like conditions of the fight, not just stats, I think that would be really cool. So that's my general response to this question is I would like to see non-stat related battle modifiers put on Z abilities. That would be a very interesting change to the system. I would like.
All right, I think we can move on to the next question. That's another one from our public Discord server, and it's asked by Magnus, asking, with getting another Legends Limited a month later after Broly and Gogeta, are we now going to expect an LL unit every month? What do you think?
I would say every month to 2 months, depending on what is going on in the whole hemisphere of the Earth. Like we saw, like the virus came in, slowed their development process down. Maybe the economy kicks back into high gear and they things speed back up. I see that loosely affecting what happens in the game, like it already has. But yeah, I mean, this is a fighting game, so improving the roster generally makes the game better. Generally, because there's still plenty of ways they could screw up, but I don't necessarily have a problem with it because, like we've covered many, many, many times before, like the average player is not supposed to chase every single unit in the game. You kind of build around your favorites / the foundations you have access to. So I'm okay with the roster constantly improving. And also remember, over time, if you're lucky enough to accrue stars on these Legends Limiteds, all their Zenkais have been free so far. So the more frequent they pump them out, that's the more free Zenkais they're obligated to give us later on down the road. So maybe it's not all bad, but it does ask a little bit much. I think the banners could be reformatted and more emphasis given to Legends Limited units, better rates, if they're going to continuously release them. And with better formatting, it would be received much better. But I think it's a combination of the release pace as well as the bad banner formats that's the true problem here.
Yeah, I think it's a valid concern to have just because, the rate that we're getting these LFs at, starting with UI Goku, double LF Broly and Gogeta, now we're getting this feature Gohan now. I mean, this is a valid question for sure. I would assume that in February we probably are not going to be getting one, just because I don't know if they really want to directly compete with Dokkan's anniversary. And February generally is like a more laid back period for these games, and I don't think a lot is going to happen in February. So maybe they'll skip February, but I would assume just like how it happened last year in March, where we had the dual LF Frieza and Piccolo. I don't know if we're going to get another dual LF in March. But at the very least, I would say at least one LF is probably going to pop up in March here. So maybe not one every single month, but maybe like every month and a half to 2 months, I would say expect one, because that seems to be the path they want to go down.
So, I mean, as a Legends player, I see Dokkan content and just on posts on YouTube, and it feels like Dokkan has a new LR unit every other afternoon.
Yeah, because it's much easier to create units in that game than Legends.
But so my opinion in Legends is, especially since I don't chase every single tag, I really like the variety being introduced in the game. I personally feel like if the community can come out and say, well, why don't I just run the Zenkai then, right? Because the Zenkais are better, then you don't really have to have the argument that this is some massive pay-to-win system. It just feels very, very premium, right? And so, I don't know. As someone that can't pull every single LF, it doesn't bother me. And I'm not a collector. I know a lot of you in chat are recoiling at this idea, but I like the drip feed of hype. I think it's pretty cool that this Gohan came out of nowhere, and it kind of gets me excited that other units, like MVP 17 or something, could just literally show up tomorrow, and you're like, what?
Yeah, and I think like maybe this is their new philosophy. Maybe they're I don't know, recruiting for their development team or something, where their goal is eventually to release a lot more characters over the course of the year. That might be what their goal is. We don't know because they don't tell us directly what our goal is to do this, unless they want to come out with like a video and stuff and say directly like, okay, yeah, we're looking at releasing more units over the course of the year, which is possible. Maybe they just want to expand. That's an option.
Can we talk about Prof saying I can't get everyone? You have like a 10-star Broly or something?
Oh, okay, guys, 100%. If my chat calls me free to whale, he's in chat right now. It's Jeer and Future Zama are two of my active viewers, but this is all donos, guys. I don't have a massive Legends disposable income, so like when Gohan was announced, my heart dropped because I had like 2 CC, quite literally.
Well, it do be like that sometimes.
Props then. I'm just a little jealous of the Broly. That's all.
Yeah, dude, my Broly has more stars than my Frieza. Let that sink in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, the Frieza that was on the same banner, man.
Yeah, typical, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I pulled both of them before I even pulled Frieza. Like,
well, I don't even have good 21. I got the 3-star Gohan, so maybe you guys are onto something. The real units are the 1%.
That's we're off of that.
All right. I think we can move on to our next question. And this one's from one of our regulars, from Ryan, aka RMT70 in the chat. And the question is, what are your thoughts on dual units that function like Revival Cell? For example, a Pikkon and Gogeta unit that starts out as Pikkon, and when he dies, Goku and Vegeta fuse into Gogeta. What do you think?
I like the combo of them using the dual units more frequently. That setup may be a little bit weird. I mean, just for that specific character, like I just see it more as like a Goku and Vegeta character, that main ability, and then transform. But this idea could be cool as well. Like, I would like that. I mean, there's so many combinations for these dual units that they just haven't. Like, they could spend a lot of developmental time on this. I would assume it's just more difficult, like Goresh said. It's just how this game is harder for them to generate new characters for in general than a game like Dokkan. Maybe that's why they haven't. But we have like characters like Goku and Frieza from the Tournament of Power that would combo great together. 17 and 18. Mai and Future Trunks. You could have just all types of different stuff. King Cold and Mecha Freezer. Like Rose and Zamasu. Like, there's so many different options they could do for these, and they haven't really been giving them as much focus as I wish they would. But yes, I agree with this comment. Yes.
I think that when we've talked about the asset issue before, because that would be 3 units, you know, Vegeta, Goku, and Pikkon all slapping themselves together, and then you get Gogeta at the end. So wait, that's 4. So I think that would be an issue for the load on the game, but I really like the idea of, you know, themed units. Maybe you have a Goku or a Vegeta unit and they toss the earring to the other one. I think that stuff would be really fun, and I would really want them to expand the dual units, especially after Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 came out, because when the Broly came out with Chi just kind of felt like, she's just kind of there. But with Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, she shows up for like all the ultimates and stuff, and it kind of adds something to it.
Yeah, I just think this is an underused tactic or game design that they should really expand on more. Like, I would love to see. I mean, I know the LL units are a hot take right now, but I'd love to see like an LL duo unit, because they tend to put more effort and more polish on the animations of LL units. So it's only natural that a dual unit that was an LL would have like the top level of like animations and stuff. Like, they were bragging about how Gogeta Blue is like, oh, wait till you see his Legends Limited, it's gonna blow all the other ones away in terms of the quality of it. And where I agree with that, like both Broly and Gogeta have like top-notch looking Legends Limited finishes, or the LFs. I think that they could really go really high quality on a combo unit. Like, if it's just like Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta, and they have like a combo Kamehameha Gallic gun move and then transform into Gogeta or something, like they're gonna go OD on the design of that unit. I can't wait to see it.
What do you other guys think?
Yeah, ZVG, Tom, Gresh.
I mean, it would be a cool concept. I just don't know if this is something that they're like, that's like pressing for them to do right now. I mean, it is a buff for movies. I don't know if movies really needs a huge buff right now, considering we just got like major reworks of the whole tag. But I don't know. Yeah, it would be a cool concept for sure. It's just, you know, where does this fall in their priority list right now? I don't know.
Yeah.
So we're talking.
Go ahead.
We're talking about a unit that when he dies, he transforms into someone else, like the Revival Cell. Who would take this spot though?
It's just your thoughts on the question. More specifically, was thoughts on the combo units like Saiyaman 1 and 2 and Broly Chi that have special mechanics like that.
Well, but he says, right, that function like Revival Cells. So you
die
and then Pikkon dies, and then Gogeta comes back to avenge him, pretty much. Even if we take out the added load of fusing those two, just Gogeta coming back, for example, right?
Oh, so you're just talking about like one character that dies and comes back as a different character.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of weird.
Who else would take that spot?
I mean
Metal Cooler.
Yeah.
A Metal Cooler, yeah.
I mean, they could do a Mecha Frieza and King Cold where Mecha Frieza dies and then revives as King Cold, I guess. And King Cold like steps in, and there's like a cutscene where he just like steps off a rock or something, and like
I would like that though.
We can play Zangya.
His Greek part better be him saying he's sorry.
You could have a Zanya that dies and comes back as Bojack and kills her at the end of an animation or something.
Yeah, like I think that would be a good way to segue those kinds of units. You know, you'd run like the minion character that's then replaced by a Freezer or whoever it is in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, and you could even do something cool like you have a final form Frieza, and he dies, and he comes back like missing that chunk of his tail and all busted up looking. Like,
well, Lucy just said an obvious one. How do we not see Nappa into Vegeta? Right when Nappa's crippled, and then Vegeta just throws him off to the side and comes back, and we actually have a valid Scouter Vegeta.
Yep.
Ooh.
Wait, you don't
And
think
also-
purple Zenkai Vegeta's good?
What? I mean, I made it for my UI.
what about the green Saiyan Saga Vegeta? He's great.
Dude, I would love his Zenkai. He's so cool looking.
Yeah, more endurance. That's what we need.
He's got the OG like Cancer Green card. Imagine that getting a rework.
I don't want to.
Now you have to.
Make it like complete global stage on the range.
What?
Make it work like Frieza's like paralyzed, so he can reach all the way across the stage now.
Goldo's paralyzed.
Balance.
Goldo's
It hits
paralyzed.
the entire
Exactly.
field.
LR Cyberman, who dies and comes back as a combo unit of Vegeta and Nappa together, like Broly Chilai. Or LL Cyberman combo. They die.
Or like a Chaozu that sacrifices into Tien.
Yep. That's a good one.
They can have a lot of fun with it.
Krillin exploding into Super Saiyan Goku, yeah. Chat.
Oh my god.
I mean, also, they don't have to do that with every unit, right? Even if it's just a unit every couple of months where you have that special little something, it's still nice just to sprinkle something else into it, right? Just some variety.
That's something that GT could benefit from, not just thinking about it. This is like a little bit tangent, but they could use a Revival 2.0 like Cell version of Sin Shenron. He dies, it just shows him absorb the Black Dragon Balls, and he comes back as Omega.
Or Rildo.
Ugh.
I
I
like
just
that
hated
character.
anything before episode 27. I didn't like in GT. Everything after episode 26, I love.
Fair. All right, I think we can move on. We have time for one or two more questions here. The next one is from Twitter as well, coming from Lean, asking, what are your thoughts on bots in PvP? I dread every new season because of the potential of facing bots up to rank 50, the most off-putting thing for them in PvP. Going on that they think we should have the option of turning them totally off so that we can rather wait longer instead of forfeiting to bots.
Me and Gresh had a back and forth on Twitter about this recently, where he's like, bots in PvP are an oxymoron, and it is. It's like you don't go into PvP to fight the AI.
Yeah.
PvP.
Just get rid of them altogether, even if it hurts my queue times a little bit. So be it.
I have a. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, there's two things I want to point out. One, I think anybody that knows anything about Legends ranked PvP knows more about. It's not as much of how good you are, about how many miles you're willing to put into the game.
Yeah.
And so I'm not too worried about bots in PvP because there's some point where you just need to give somebody content. And now, I don't think they should be there because I think it. Oh, I'm sorry for the background noise. It is storming like a mother outside. But I think that I think that they're not the worst thing in the world. I don't think that this should be turned off or turned on based off who has them, because then the battle rank 50 player with bots is higher ranked than the battle rank 45 player that's struggling versus all the new teams that are coming out. So I wouldn't necessarily say that one person can turn it off, the other can't, as much as just completely remove it from the game.
Yeah, I have a conspiracy theory about bots, which is they're in the game because if you're a newer player that doesn't necessarily know if you're fighting a bot or a player, it makes you feel good to beat a bot and think it's a person, so that it encourages you to play more.
I mean, I think that's the reason why after 2 losses you get a bot, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that they're disabled over rank 50 though. At least that's like a good compromise, right? Like,
I mean,
well, yeah,
we
because
came a
they
long
know
way.
if you get to rank 50, they assume that you pretty much like know how to play the game and know what a bot is. And then at that point, they don't want to keep giving you bot matches because then you're just gonna get pissed.
What's the difference between a bot match and then being reset back to battle rank 35 and you found battle rank 30 Timmy, who's just getting the experience of the game for the first time?
There isn't, because Well, that's another issue entirely because I don't think if you get to top 100 or even top 1,000 in PvP, you shouldn't be reset to rank 35.
It's just not fair.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because
Also, I
rank 50,
not-
the rank 50 pool of players is way too big for every single person to be reset to the same rank. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Also, playing against Timmy is much less predictable than playing against a bot, I think. So it's like a little bit more weird. The one thing that I think is annoying is that the one thing is if you play a lot of bots, it kind of throws off your game a little bit because bots are just different than players.
Yeah.
So once you hit 5 bots and then you fight against a player and you're like, oh wait, I can't PV this anymore? Crap. But I remember the times when bots used to be in battle rank 50 and they used to give full points. That was awful. But even worse was the time when they were in BR 50 and they gave you 1 point.
Like, bro, that's when I did forfeit because your forfeit would you lose 2, right?
Yeah, something like this.
Yeah, but it would also break your win streak if you did that.
I think they should keep the bots, but only for those players that have like 600 ping and above. Like for all the laggers in the game.
Yeah, punish them.
Yeah,
that would actually be a good punishment. Like if you have over 400 ping, that's all you can queue against.
They need to give it the Battle 51 freeze AI though.
And the buffs.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know, man. A bot DC'd on me last night.
What?
I was gonna say.
A guy DC'd on me, turned into a bot, and that bot turned up on me last night. Like when I was playing PvP, and I was like, "Oh, this is great! I just lost to a bot."
I think they actually did that. They actually did that to combat the people who were disconnect cheating and trying to farm easy wins. Because the bot, like, it does go nuts on you. After someone on battle rank 50, like, rage quits on you, like, you'll do a tap blast and the AI will instantly frame one rising rush you. Or it'll, like, combo you and just instantly use its ultimate arts technique, like, way out of timing. And it just, like, I've been caught off guard by that as well. Like,
yeah, it was ridiculous. What were we saying, Gresh?
I was going to say the full power freeze AI that would PV you into blue card like 9 times in a fight.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Still was fun, but yeah, that part not so much. I remember when I once made a video about one of those events, the first 20 seconds was just like 7 different scenes of me dying to a blue card. All right, let's do one more question. The last question comes from Elijah A, asking what exactly keeps movies from being top tier. I'm actually looking forward to movies Zenkais from now on, especially ones that buff the tag.
I think movies is pretty dang close to top tier right now just because it's like Zenkai madness for them and they have all these different sub builds that you could choose like between Saiyans.
Well, yeah, it's for Gogeta Blue.
Opponent.
Gogeta Blue rose them to the top, dude. Put him number 1. Easy.
Well, even more so the powerful opponent movies build that's got like the blue Broly, the green Broly, and then you just like throw Super Saiyan Bardock on there to fill or something like.
Well, I think the issue is that you need to bring that fill unit that doesn't directly buff the whole team, like Bardock and Gogeta.
Yeah, I mean, movies, they just haven't released units on the same pace as like the normal timelines as they have with movies. Like, you look at a character like Vegeta or Gogeta that has like 3 or 4 different versions in the game, and then you look at Lord Slug who only has 1 sparking and 1 EX, and neither of them are relevant. Garlic Jr. has a movie. He doesn't even have a character in the game yet. It's another way for me to work in that plug for Garlic Jr.
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Yeah. Like, they just, beyond like the Gogeta and the Janembas, they don't really focus, and Cooler, I guess, beyond them, they don't really focus that much attention towards the movies. That's probably more so the problem. If movies were more included, I feel like the tag would be more powerful.
Other thoughts?
That kind of represents every tag, though. Like, we get more units for a tag, they get better.
Well, yeah, it's just like that. Movies is better off than something like Dragon Ball Saga or GT. But if he's talking about top tier, well, they're just probably missing some of the units they could potentially have that they haven't made.
They need offense. They have plenty of defense with that new Vegeta.
I think
they need that
Gohan,
Gohan, that 18. Like,
what they're missing is a support unit like Vados.
Yeah,
like she builds the Godkey team, and I think if
Kinda
Movie
makes
gets
sense.
one, yeah, then they're top tier again.
They could go for sport. I think a lot of things that people aren't witnessing with movies, it's much like the Legends Road team. You kind of also need the items to make them work. They've got some incredible gear, and they have to be running with just straight movies, but you'll see him shine a bit more of that. But yeah, the Fury Broly, as much as I love the character, he didn't cut it for the support they need. If they had a dedicated role that could maybe have a good cover change with the support features to give 35 to 50% damage increase, they would be right in line with everybody else, especially with this new Broly running around.
Yeah, new Broly, the green Broly, they're dangerous together. Super dangerous.
Green Broly can legit do like half of my Super Saiyan Purple Gohan's health in like one blue card.
Yeah, his nukes are quite powerful.
He's
And
underrated.
The
for
green
sure.
bubble shield, he's got Buhan's green bubble shield that works against anything in the game besides Rising Rush, which is very annoying.
That's fun to use.
Yeah, so I don't have him Zenkai, so for me it's just not fun when I get it used against me.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I think that's it. So that concludes our podcast for this week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And if you missed it or you want to rewatch parts of it, this one will air in about 24 hours on YouTube as a premiere. So some of us will be in chat as well. We thank you all for showing up. Make sure that you check out all our social media. We have Reddit, Discord, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Did I forget anything? I think that's everything. And exactly, check out our merch. Thanks, Donjay. We hope that you'll have a good week, and that we'll see you again in a week from now and the next podcast episode. So yeah, take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Beyond that, there should be a pretty packed afternoon and evening of streaming. So keep your eyes on the 5-9 Twitch channel. I believe Truth wants to do something later. I don't know. He was like going to play something and comment along with the football game or something like that. I don't know what his plans are, but just, hit the follow button if you haven't already so we can see you again for more fun on 5-9 Twitch. And other than that, peace out, everybody.